All right.
All right. So next up, Marshon Lloyd, USC running back, 5'8" and 3/4 inches, 220 pounds, 8 3/4 inch hands. Rich, is that enough for you? 30 3/8 inch arms, 73 5/8 inch wingspan. He is 23, newly minted. It was January that he turned 23. In the 40, he ran a 4.46. He had a 1.56 10-yard split and a broad jump of 118 inches, 25 bench press reps, 36-inch vertical. Last year, in 11 games, he had 116 rushing attempts, 820 rushing yards, 9 rushing touchdowns, 13 receptions, 232 yards, and no additional touchdowns. Rich, Garrett.
Me this time, yep.
Garrett.
I've been talking about MarShawn Lloyd for a decent amount of time now. He's a guy that's been on my radar. He's been on a lot of my Devy teams. I talked about him coming into the season and the preseason and postseason, and I've been talking about
draft
him
season and
all the time,
all the seasons.
He's been
Christmas
a guy.
season.
Yeah. Groundhog's Day, Valentine's Day, all kinds of stuff.
St. Patrick's Day was just the other day. You missed St. Patrick's Day?
Dang it!
Come on, man.
Well, I didn't wear green, so it was kind of embarrassing. All of that being said, kind of like Blake Corum, he's a guy that I've been watching for a long time, and being disappointed with Blake Corum's film, you're like, oh no, am I going to be disappointed with his film?
Is round 2 of the disappointment train
coming?
coming?
No, and I wasn't disappointed at all. I watched his tape and I really, really enjoyed it. Before Trey Benson, he was really battling with Jonathan Brooks for that top spot in my rookie running back rankings. They actually ended up having an identical score, which does not happen very often. So they both ended up with a 74.83, both Jonathan Brooks and MarShawn Lloyd. So really high marks. I thought he had really good vision overall. He's a very elusive player, especially when you consider his elusiveness and his speed with that 220-pound frame that he's working with. And he's not a very tall guy, so he packs a good punch. Like when you're talking about, BMI, like he's got a great BMI for a running back. So there was
just the way you said that.
I mean, it was great. it was fantastic.
His BMI is 32.48, which is second in the class.
Yeah.
And first is Maya Williams, so
thick with 2 C's.
He's first in the class.
Well, that's different. I'm sure my BMI would be fantastic, but that doesn't help anything for running back. So, all that being said, I didn't have, except for one, I did not have anything that was below average for MarShawn Lloyd. His vision was above average. His breaking tackle ability was above average. His contact ability was above average. Every 7s and 8s.
I see that.
Just littered across my I think he has such a well-developed all-around game. Yes, I know he's another one that had some injury, transferred from South Carolina to USC, but I think he really displayed this last season what he's able to do in the right offense. He can beat you with power. He can beat you with speed. He can beat you with elusiveness. He can beat you so many ways. Has some work to do in the pass pro game. It was pretty poor. He wasn't very good at protecting the quarterback there, but things that he can learn, adjust. So it's not a concern for me, but that was the big negative for me was he really can't block.
And he tore his ACL in 2020 as well. So
it's been a minute.
It's been a long time. But Matt, I know this is your number one running back on the board, and Jared as well. So I'll let you guys go.
I mean, I'm going to echo a lot of what you just said there, Garrett. I think he's a guy that does a lot of good things laterally. I think he's very explosive that way. He's got really good burst, acceleration, all that kind of good stuff. I loved his vision as well. He was probably one of the highest rated guys. I don't remember everyone's vision score, but it's up there. You know what I mean? And mentioning him being a bigger back, I think he's got a lot of really good natural power to his game. I don't know that he always uses it. I feel like he does make people miss in the open field an awful lot, and sometimes a power back will just run people over. Yeah. He doesn't do that. He'll which is good. He mixes it up. Keeps
you see it more around the goal line.
Kind of
when you see that power, which is where you want to see it.
Right. So I think he's the type of guy that you're never going to have to take off the field in the pro game, which is great. Especially in a draft that I think is light on guys that are true 3-down guys that kind of excel. You know what I mean? We have a lot of guys that are good at everything but don't really stand out, and he's got plenty of standout attributes. So for me, he's my top rated guy. I think he's, in the NFL, he's going to be drafted in the second round, which puts him in the conversation pretty easily in the back half of a first round of a rookie draft. So, he's going to be I don't want to make him sound like he's a generational talent though. Like I feel like he's a guy he's gonna have a few good years as running back one.
He's hashtag 2 to 3.
He is a hashtag 2 to 3 year window type of guy for me.
He's a little bit older.
He's a perfect guy to like come in, has a really good rookie year, and trade for like a good high first round pick next year. Like he's that perfect kind of like you want to draft him so you could use him year one and then flip him right away. That's the kind of good asset he is. Because you're right, I like this tape as well. I was really impressed with how quick his feet were for his size. For a big stocky like that, like he had like those AJ Dillon, like he had really quick feet for size. I thought it was really impressive. I love the way that his lateral ability and agility as well for his size. I thought he could catch the ball well.
Yep.
I thought that he could make defenders miss, which is for a guy like of his caliber, being almost basically 5'9", 225. You want to see guys like that aren't just trying to run players over, that have the quickness and lateral agility to make those guys miss for those extra big plays, or give me an extra 3 to 4 yards, which is massive in today's game. I thought he had a couple fumbles on there, like some negatives. I thought he fumbled a couple times. I didn't love that, and I thought his pass. I was with you. I thought his pass protection for a guy of his stature was not good. I thought a ton of other players that were much smaller than him did a much better job at him there, but I definitely see a player that I wrote here is like he's a really good short-term asset in Dynasty that you either write out his career, but I think he's really well suited at almost to the point where like I think Marshon Lloyd is worth a slight overdraft in your rookie draft, not because he's so much better than maybe some or better than the receivers that might be there for where he's probably going to go, but what you'll be able to flip him for in return
capitalize on it sooner
afterwards, because I think he has the kind of style that can come out in the NFL and start banging right away and really produce and kind of be, get flirty at the party, Garrett.
That girl is banging.
He always screws our names up.
He does.
Always.
We're the same person, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, Jared and Garrett, it just sounds like it's so close. So for me, I think this is what I love about Marshon Lloyd. I really do like his tape as well, but I think he screams like instant gratification to dynasty players and fantasy football players once he gets on the field. And I think that alone will kind of open up a door to outweigh your draft capital, where you get him in like the high of the second round. You could probably get a first round pick for him in next year's class and get a year out of him.
Matt, I know this is something that you tend to pick up on a lot, and I saw this out of Marshon Lloyd, so I'm curious if you saw it. One of the things I did really enjoy, too, is he was a guy that, whether he had the ball or not, did a good job of playing through the play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like carried out his fakes really. Like there were several times I thought he had the ball.
Yeah.
Because he really did a great job of carrying out his fakes, which I really appreciate, because that shows not just a commitment to the highlight plays for him, but doing well for his teammates.
It shows a deeper understanding of what the whole game is. You know what I mean? And you might not be getting the ball, but your job on that play is to fake like you have the ball. Now fake like you have the ball. So everyone, at least, even if you draw the attention of the defender for a millisecond or a half a second, that's what your job is. And that could be the difference between the person getting open behind them or the quarterback running past them or them getting tackled. You know what I mean? And that is a huge kind of hidden part of the game that not a lot of people even pay attention
Will Shipley did that really well, too.
Shipley did that well.
Really well. Yep. There's one play that he did it on, I thought was pretty exceptional, where he ran to the left for a screen, and then he actually, even as a quarterback turned to throw it to the right side, even though he was on the left side, he actually put his hands up like this, like he was going to catch the football.
Is this Lloyd or Shipley?
Shipley.
I
thought it was
yeah.
Again,
I love those little things
like that.
that
He wasn't like designing to get the ball, but he did that little extra thing, and I was like, I appreciate that.
I do. I appreciate that. And
You should do that. That's what you're coached to do.
Yeah. But so, Jerry, I know this is, you said.
Yeah, he's my RB1. He's in his own
tier like Benson is for me. So I'd love to hear some more add-on sprinkles on top of the ice cream from you.
I think he can just win in every way that you would ask a running back to win. I thought his patience was so good. I graded him a 9, and I thought just his ability to allow the play to develop, allow his lines to catch on their blocks, the way he set them up, and then he hit the hole, and then he's able to make the first man miss almost every single time. Like, there wasn't often where he got brought down in the open field one-on-one. Like, he's always making that first guy miss, and then even the second guy miss and stringing together moves, catches the ball well. Definitely needs to work on his pass pro, though. I had him. That was his lowest mark for me, too. But then, I mean, not just the quickness and agility, but he can hit it up inside and get you 4 to 5 yards with his play strength and his contact balance. So he graded a 76.5 for me, which is really high. I mean, that's up there with Jonathan Taylor and Breece Hall from when I did my tape evaluations. So, I mean, going into it, I did not think at all like this guy would be that high whatsoever. Yeah. But that's where he ended up for me. I think we're the way we all have him RB1 or RB2 amongst us four. I mean, just looking around.
I have him as RB3, by the way.
Okay.
I do have Jonathan Brooks ahead of him.
Looking around,
a tied score for me. So
across, like, there's not many people that have him that high. I mean, they're usually
I'm seeing him outside the top 5 even.
Yeah. So I think we may even be able to get a little discount, Marshon Lloyd, but we'll see how the draft goes, and that'll adjust a little bit for me too. I don't think it'll move him off RB1 for me unless he goes like 4 or 5, around 4 or 5, but.
Yeah. Last thing I want to throw out there, and Jared, I'm curious if you saw this as well, but for as good as his vision was initially at the line of scrimmage, I thought his vision was even better at the second level. And I thought he did a fantastic job of just not just understanding where the defenders were, but setting up defenders by utilizing his downfield blocks, being able to either widen out at certain points or cut right off to be able to defeat angles and things from defenders. Like, he really seems to understand the game well, which I really like out of running back. 'Cause you don't have to be smart to be a good running back, but it does help. And he does seem like a guy that gets the game a little bit more than maybe some other running backs do.
Yeah, for sure. I saw that too. And I mean, anybody that starts their career in South Carolina always gets a slow start. I mean, you don't go there to go to the NFL and be productive. So I'm glad that he ended up transferring to USC. But, obviously I like him a lot.
And there are guys that things have slowed down for. You know what I mean? And you could tell that they're moving faster than the defenders. You know, their brain is.
Yep.
And they're kind of out-thinking guys. They're playing chess, basically, out there. And it's a great sign when somebody can do that. And some guys you never see it out of. Some guys, it's pretty evident when you find a guy that can, and he's one of these guys.
I saw some notes too that I had it noted next to his name. I didn't have an opportunity to do it, but I know Lance Zierlein, he said, like, I liked his 22 tape more than his 23 tape, even though his 23 tape had more yards per carry. I actually thought he would look better on tape in 22. So I know I have some of that film, and I had that noted here, so I can go back and watch that as well.
Yeah, I did 8 games of his. We have so much USC tape because of Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I opened his film room tape, and it's like, oh wow, every game.
I know
that's just all of them.
I had to keep going. So I'm like,
I've been there.
Am I
like,
this high?
Players that I love. Like, I watched every Breece Hall snap I could possibly see. 'Cause like you said, I mean, the fact that you even have him graded the same as Breece Hall is crazy to me. Because Breece Hall, even after I got done watching tape, I was like, he's one of the best running backs I've ever watched tape on.
Well, not only do I always want to watch as much as possible, but when I see somebody that I like, especially, you want to make sure that you're not just seeing the good. You want to see if
I watch his 3 best games of all time?
Right. Yeah. Can I find some warts on this guy and kind of maybe something to pull the score down a little bit?
And granted, our grading system, it's not perfect, but it's done really well so far for us. Does it need tweaked a little? Maybe. We haven't tweaked it yet, but
the nerd scores outproduced draft capital so far. So it's working. This is going to be this is the 4th year we're doing it.
This is 5th.
The 5th year
we're
doing
it. Isn't that crazy?
Because looking back,
That's
dude.
Nuts. I remember when we first started, like, let's see how it goes.
Let's just try it.
Like, I agree. Like, looking back, watching Breece Hall, watching Marshon Lloyd, like, I like Breece Hall more, but that's just, it's just how it's
It evolves. So, I get it. Yeah. Sometimes when you grade the tape and just, I get it.
There are guys from the first year that, like, and it was tough, too, because that was the 2020 class, was the first year we did it. And that was such a good class. And we had no benchmark to go against.
Right.
So we're doing it against air the first time, and so going back, maybe there are things we do slightly differently, but now we have a much better baseline of things and whatnot. So I've even thought before, like, do we at some point not even worry about the first year, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't.
I mean, it did well, at running back, not receiver.